What is CVE-2022-34878? CVE-2022-34878 is a security vulnerability that was first reported on March 1, 2022. It affects the Microsoft Exchange Server, specifically the Exchange Control Panel (ECP) component, which is used by administrators to manage the Exchange Server environment. The vulnerability is caused by improper validation of user-supplied input, which could allow an attacker to execute arbitrary code in the context of the Exchange Control Panel service account. This vulnerability has been assigned a CVSSV3 base score of 9.1, which means that it is a critical vulnerability that could have a significant impact on the affected system's confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It is recommended that Exchange Server administrators apply the security update released by Microsoft to address this vulnerability as soon as possible. How does CVE-2022-34878 work? An attacker can exploit this vulnerability by sending a specially crafted request to the ECP component. The request can be crafted in a way that includes malicious code that, when executed, can give the attacker control over the Exchange Server environment. This could allow the attacker to steal sensitive information, modify data, or disrupt the normal operation of the Exchange Server environment. Once an attacker has successfully exploited this vulnerability, they could potentially gain full control of the Exchange Server environment. This means that the attacker could access all email and other data stored on the Exchange Server, modify or delete data, and even install additional malware or backdoors to maintain access to the system in the future. Microsoft has released a security update to address this vulnerability, which Exchange Server administrators should apply as soon as possible to protect their systems from potential attacks. Who is affected by CVE-2022-34878? CVE-2022-34878 affects Microsoft Exchange Server versions 2013, 2016, 2019, and Microsoft Exchange Server 2010 Service Pack 3. It is important to note that Microsoft Exchange Server 2010 reached its end of support on October 13, 2020, and no longer receives security updates from Microsoft. This vulnerability can be exploited by remote attackers, which means that any organization running an affected version of Microsoft Exchange Server is potentially vulnerable to attacks. The impact of the vulnerability could be severe, as an attacker could potentially gain full control over the Exchange Server environment and access sensitive data, modify or delete data, and install additional malware or backdoors to maintain access to the system in the future. It is highly recommended that Exchange Server administrators apply the security update released by Microsoft to address this vulnerability as soon as possible. In addition, organizations should also review their security controls and practices to ensure that they have adequate protection in place to detect and respond to potential attacks. How can you protect yourself from CVE-2022-34878? Apply the security update. Microsoft has released a security update to address this vulnerability, and it is important to apply this update as soon as possible to protect your system from potential attacks. Review your security controls. Review your organization's security controls and practices to ensure that they are adequate to detect and respond to potential attacks. This may include reviewing your access controls, network segmentation, and intrusion detection and prevention systems. Monitor your system. Monitor your Exchange Server environment for any unusual activity, such as unauthorized access attempts, unusual network traffic, or other signs of a potential attack. This can help you detect and respond to potential attacks before they can cause significant damage. Educate your users. Educate your users on how to recognize and report potential security threats. This can help you identify and respond to potential attacks more quickly. Consider hiring a security professional. If you do not have the necessary expertise in-house, consider hiring a security professional to help you assess and address potential vulnerabilities in your system. By taking these steps, you can help protect your organization from CVE-2022-34878 and other potential security threats.